Good evening and welcome to this press briefing with the LWF President-elect, Bishop Henrik Stubkjær. I'm going to ask the President-elect a short question to begin with, and then we will give you the floor to ask questions. This is an opportunity for us to get to know him, and then he will be, along with the new council, installed on the final day of the Assembly as the President, and will then chair his first council meeting on Wednesday, the 20th of September. First of all, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
I want to ask, because I think this is an opportunity for us, and I think for those who are here, to get to know you a little bit. Who is Henrik Stubkjær?
Oh, it's a big question, and I have already learned that my surname is very difficult to pronounce. Stubkjær. Since 2014, I've been bishop in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Denmark, the Diocese of Viborg. It is actually the second city in Denmark that turned to the Reformation. And it was as early as 1529. I'm the husband to Karen. My wife is a pastor, also in the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and we have 4 children together. And I have now 3 grandchildren as well. Nearly all my working life, I've been working for the church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and also mostly with an international perspective. I've been working in diaconia, both as the principal of our deacon college, where we educate deacons for church and social and society. And I've been working also as general secretary in Dan Church Aid, faith-based development and relief organization. And now, as I said, for 9 years, bishop in Viborg.
Thank you very much. I think I'd like to, we have a number of media representatives here, and I think they're hungry to ask you questions. Jan, Cornelia, can you take the mic? If you would just introduce yourself and whom you are reporting for.
Yes, good evening, Bishop. Congratulations to your election. I think we're all looking forward to work with you and to report on the LWF under your leadership. I should introduce myself. My name is Jan Herbermann. I write for the EPD news agency in Frankfurt, Germany, and I'm based in Geneva, next to you, next to you.
Nice
to
to
the
meet
LWF,
you.
yes. I would like to ask you a question on the leadership of the LWF. You are from Denmark, the Secretary General is from Estonia, and other key positions like communications are also with Nordic people like Arnie from Iceland. So I was wondering, don't you think that this is a sort of imbalance, since LWF is a global congregation, and don't you think that the so-called Global South is now underrepresented in the leadership positions of the LWF? Many thanks.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a balance in such a global organization like us, and therefore we have to, I think we have to work on it, and we have also other regions in the leadership, also at the communion office. I think it's important that we are both men and women. It's important that we also have the youth and have a close, and also bring them into leadership, bring them into the council, and give them positions so that they can speak. They are the present and the future of the church. But I also think, of course, it's important that we are looking for we are looking for competences when we're looking into the leadership. And I can see there is a few Nordic persons here, as you said. You're totally right on that. But I think it's a coincidence, and it might be in another way in just a few years. You never know. So I'll work for the global representation. That's for sure. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I'm Frank from the United Lutheran Church in Germany, and I just want to ask you, can you summarize in one sentence what Lutheran means to you?
Oh, in one sentence. It's difficult. But for me, it means liberated by God's grace. It's the most important thing. That's where we start. It was when Luther realized that made a revolution in his own life. And I think it's from there everything starts. And if you are liberated by God's grace, it means that you are liberated by the love of God. And you can't keep the love for yourself. If you do it, it will die. So it also means that for me, Lutheranism is also faith in action. It means that you can lift up, you don't have to look into your own egocentric circles, but look up and then you realize your neighbor and you have to take care of his need. It's for me, and I want to work for this balance. Theology, the gospel, liberated by God's grace, and that is the sending power in Christianity for me. Thank you.
Stefan Kosch from the German magazine Zeitzeichen. You said that everything starts with liberation by God's grace.
Yes.
There are a lot of people in modern society who don't feel that they need this liberation. They don't feel prisoned. They don't feel they have no problem to live without God. How do you want to convince them that they need to be liberated?
I'm not sure you're totally right, because I meet a lot of people who are actually prisoned in their own deeds. We have been told that you are what you do for many years, and I think it's the same in Germany as it is in Denmark. We have a lot of people going down with stress because we have told ourselves that you are what you do, and you are in a competition with all others. And therefore, I think it's needed for society to hear the word of the gospel, that the deepest in your identity is actually not what you do, but it is a gift. That you may believe that you are the beloved child of God. And that's where it starts. And that's the liberation. And I have experienced that many people aren't there in their life. So I think it's an important message also for us in the West and in the secular world, to tell people that they are beloved before they start doing anything. Thank you.
Yeah. Dariusz Brunch, Evangelical Lutheran Church in Poland. Bishop Henry, congratulations to your election. And my question is, how inconvenient should be the Lutheran World Federation, Lutheran churches, taking into account the fact that, for example, you resigned from the membership of the Social Democratic Party as a sign of protest against taking out of the Danish calendar the day of prayer. So, what do you think? How inconvenient we should be as a Lutheran World Federation, Lutheran churches in the society? And the second question, if I may ask, should we be perhaps more inconvenient in the ecumenical dialogue? For example, the Roman Catholic Church. because taking the fact that the dialogue with the Roman Church is a little bit, let's say, perhaps not dead, but in a big crisis.
Thank you very much. You have done your research, I can hear. It's true. I've been members of the Social Democrats for 40 years, but I decided to quit my membership because they, without any dialogue with the church, they decided to remove a holy day, even the Great Prayer Day, as we call it. And they used the excuse that it was because they want to have more labor, so people should work on that day, so that we could gain more money, so that we could pay for weapons. And I think normally in time of wars, earlier we have set up a new prayer day, but now they removed it. And I was angry because it's a new thing in Denmark. We have, you know, what I called a folk church. But it seems as the government think that we have a state church and they can do whatever. And that was what called me to quit my membership, because I think it's important for us that we have an evangelical Lutheran church. And this is not a state church, it's a folk church. And I will fight for that. And I think it's important that we are the prophetic voice in society also today. So I'll speak up for the oppressed, the refugees, the people in need, and I think we should do that as churches, because God created us equal, and He created us for a life in dignity. Therefore we shall speak up. And then to the dialogue with the Roman, the ecumenical dialogue, I really hope, and I will work to intensify this dialogue, instead of seeing as at slowing down. I hope that we can open it up again. We have some important milestones coming to us in the future. And I think it is important, and I think the world need us as churches to work on to be one body, one spirit, and one hope. So therefore, I hope that this assembly could be a stepstone, actually, to open up for more ecumenical dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have room for one or two more questions, if there is anything. Anything online, Siri? Yes, Jan. Oh, please wait, because we need you to speak into the mic for those who are following online.
You mentioned the 4 pillars of the LWF, yes. And the first one, according to you, is to help the needy and the oppressed. And you also mentioned the war in Europe. So do you think that there's anything the LWF can do apart from the work that has been done already with the World Service? Can the LWF and other churches contribute to a possible political or diplomatic solution of this conflict, or is this beyond your reach? Many thanks.
I admit that this looks very, very difficult, but we can do what we are doing already. Churches around Ukraine are working together with the World Service, trying to help and assist people inside Ukraine and also refugees outside. That is the first task we can do. And then hopefully we can also speak up against aggression and speak for dialogue and peace. I think we need this voice, and I believe it should come from the churches, that we speak up for peace and human dignity and everything, and we can never give up. And as I said also today, I think our task is also to, even though it seems quite hopeless, we need, by the gospel, to give people hope. It's an important task also in such a situation where we are now. And then support the people. Now it becomes winter again, and speak up for humanitarian help and assistance also in our home countries. And it's not just the war in Ukraine. If you look around, you'll see a lot of those cases, and a lot of also things according to the climate change, flooding, and we see drought and so on in Africa. There's a lot to do, and I think that the churches have specific tools, because we have churches nearly everywhere. We have congregations that know what is needed and that could act. So hopefully we can keep up hope, do an assistance, and then talk for peace and mutual understanding, even though it looks very, very difficult, I admit.
Thank you so much, President-elect. I think we will wrap up now. Thank you all for being here. I again want to apologize for the delay. A few words about the upcoming program. On Monday we have a thematic plenary on One Hope, and we will have a press briefing following that with Archbishop Emerita Antje Jacqueline, who is the keynote speaker. I hope you can attend that. On Tuesday we will actually open early with opening worship that will be very ecumenical in nature, and there we will have the common word, which is from the LWF and the Roman Catholic Church, and this is going to be followed by an ecumenical panel which will have participants from the signatories, or those who have affirmed the joint declaration on the doctrine of justification, and also some other important ecumenical partners of the LWF. So I hope you can also be there. On Wednesday, we will be having the first meeting of the newly elected council under the leadership of the new president. And there, the council will elect the regional vice presidents. So there are going to be 7 regional vice presidents from all of the regions of the LWF. And then the council will also elect its committees and the chairpersons of those committees. And together, the executive committee of the LWF will consist of the president, the vice presidents, as well as these chairpersons. So that is also something to follow. So these are the next 3 days.
I just have one comment more, because yesterday all of us went to Auschwitz, and I'm sure that we are marked about that visit, all of us. And I want to say that what we saw yesterday was the end product of exclusion. And I would like to say that I think the churches have a big role in also speaking up against exclusion. And we see it in many places, also in my own country. In many countries around the globe, we see exclusion is coming up little by little. And that's an important task for us to go up against it, because we saw yesterday where it can end. So I think the whole assembly, we are marked by that visit, and we would hope that we would never see things like this again. So thanks a lot.
Thank you again, Mr. President-elect. This has been a long day, and we conclude with these words. Please reach out to Cornelia if you have any further questions, or if you would like to arrange any interviews. And I wish you all a lovely evening.